Hey, Stephen, what's going on?
Hey, John, good to see you. What's going on with you?
Been out there testing, man. It is unbelievable.
It's another hot day.
A little kind of hot out there. I'm going to wring this out. I know there's a puddle so big under there you would almost think there was a cooler up under there, but it's not. It's just me sweating, actually. Yeah, it is. It's been hot out there this year, abnormally hot, and it doesn't seem like it's letting up any. So, but you say you got some can help me out?
Well, John, I don't know if you've heard of the Powermetrix Remote Manager. This is a new feature from Powermetrix that allows you to remotely control your analyzer via Bluetooth up to 130 feet away behind closed doors or in your vehicle and at high energy, high electrical frequency environments such as substations.
Whoa, time out. You're telling me, because you know, when I hear Bluetooth, there's two things working in our industry that are two things that are going to pop into my head. One is interference and one is distance. And I just heard you say a pretty sweet distance. You're saying, let's just stick with 100. You're saying you've tested out to at least 100 feet away.
You got it.
Nice. Okay, now, substations. We know how it is inside of there with everything going on. So you've tested against the interference inside sub.
That's correct. We were out in the field and we were over a number of substations that we looked at in various environments at various times in various conditions, and it worked perfectly.
Nice. So not just one or two.
No, we did multiple substations.
That would be the part of it that I would be concerned with. Would be obviously the distance, and then would be the interference. So so you're telling me, let me make sure I understand this, because I'm liking the way this is sounding. So I can sit in my vehicle when it's freezing, I can sit in my vehicle when it's scorching, and I can operate the machine from the vehicle.
That's correct.
Okay, tell me more.
So what we've done is we've gone to major lengths to make sure that the operability of PRM is the same as you would expect on your analyzer.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we will now go to what some of those features are, and then from there we'll go to a demo.
Great.
So right now, what the current version has is, as I just mentioned, we've reduced your training and the time to train because it's near identical functionality to your analyzer. We were talking about distance, so we have a line of sight of up to 100 feet, inside a vehicle to 50 feet, and inside a building to 50 feet, as well as the substation environment that we talked about up to 130 feet. In addition, this is a Windows 10 11 compliant application, and it provides the ability to install it without administrator rights onto your secure platform. So you can then decide which platform in your environment works for you.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but it's something you said a minute ago is critical out there for me and a lot of the folks I work with, and that is, so I can have my can and stuff outside the building, but inside the wall I can have the CTs mounted inside the wall, or vice versa. And you're saying here I can be outside the wall and I can go through the wall with this.
That's correct.
Sweet. Okay. All right. I'm liking
So
what I'm hearing.
it's a low power consumption application, as well as the PowerMaster analyzer itself will look at and display what test is going on. So it'll be in remote mode, and as we execute tests, it'll show the test that's being executed at the time. So if the person has to come in, or if it's a two-person operation, they can see what's going on.
So both people could see it. If someone happened to be standing at the PowerMaster, they would still see functionally what's going on the screen.
That's correct.
But then the person also standing there with the tablet or the laptop will also see everything that's going on.
That's correct.
Okay, you need that for safety, so that's perfect. Okay. All right, great. Okay.
So now, what we're going to do is we're going to show, start a demonstration now to show how it does work, and then from there I'll show how it works outside this room.
Oh, really?
So first we're going to go and select a site. We have a 9S meter, and what'll happen is it'll start that test session. We'll now go to an integrated site test, and from there just make sure, because we do have double wrap CTs, we have a customer load test, and now we will execute. So of course it's going to scan the probes, making sure our connections are correct, and now we'll go to our vector diagram, and what this will then display is that the proper orientations of the vectors. From there we can continue, and just like you would see on your Powermaster, it's going to check for the valid signals to execute the test as well as the proper meter pulses, confirm this to you, and you'll see the meter pulse light illuminate. And once that occurs, you'll be able to conduct your test and start your test, which I'll do now. And it will once again execute in the same fashion that your Powermaster would execute this test in. And you can also see that on the Powermaster unit itself.
Yeah, so I moved over here, Stephen, so I can look at my Powermaster right here on this 3 series. And as it's going along, it's showing on the screens exactly each step as it's going through the process. But you're operating it from over here.
That's correct.
Sweet. Okay.
So now that this customer load test has completed, it'll save that test data.
And it's letting me know that I'm in remote mode. I can see the screen here, and I know I'm in remote mode, so I know there's someone else that is actually controlling this thing somewhere else.
That's correct.
For safety purposes, that's okay. It's perfect. Okay.
And now we're going to go to a CT ratio test, John.
Okay.
And this will then begin execution as it would on the analyzer.
Right.
And it mimics and replicates that near exactly, so that whether it's one technician or two will be able to see those results as they come across. And we've just now seen that the first CT has passed, and it's going right to the, or I should say the first CT, the first phase, it's going right to the next CT and the next phase, and then it'll of course continue to the third phase as the test proceeds. And once again, the analyzer is showing the test that's being performed,
Yes.
so that there's no confusion or there's no misinformation that's taking place with the test that's being performed at the time. And now we've seen that the 3 CTs as well as the phases have passed, and now we'll be saving that test data as we would. And new to PRM is the summary test screen that will display the test that you selected and performed with a summary of all the data that was received through the analyzer, and of course is saved for later use and analysis. At this point, we can go back to the test site configuration screen and perform another test.
That's pretty sweet. So I went over to watch it, the screen over there, and it lets you know exactly what it was doing every single time, what test it was in and what process. But it also, what I liked, it continuously updates and tells you it's in remote app.
That's correct.
So you know what's going on regularly. It doesn't do it one time and then disappear and someone could walk up and not know what's going on. It kept repeating over and over it was in the remote app, which I like. Good. Okay. So here's my question then. You said that this would work outside the room. So I'm kind of one of those. I wasn't born in Missouri, but I would. I did want you to show me. So,
well, John, proof's in the pudding.
That's right.
So let me pick up the
right.
tablet that I'm working on.
All right.
And I'm going to go right through this door right here.
And I'll stay here at the analyzer.
And I will perform the same test that I did. Let me just go through this door. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that test site, make the same selections that I did before. And as you're seeing now, it's executing the scannings of the probe. They were detected by the green lights on the left. It's now going to the vector diagram where it will display the vector orientation of the phases. And that has come through. At this point, we're then checking for valid signals and meter pulses just like we did before. So we are now outside the room. We are through a wall and a door, and we are performing the same test. So this is the demonstration and proof of this functionality that enables testing flexibility and safety as you are executing these tests from a vehicle, inside a building, through a wall, or in a substation. I should say at a substation. So we'll see the customer load test that will complete, and then once that takes place, we will go to the CT tests, as it would if you were on the analyzer.
Nice. It's reminding me it's in remote mode again, which I like. And that's saving that customer load test. And that's to take the probes again, because it's going to test the CTs. So it's the same
So
format
once
that
again,
we've seen over and over.
similar
when
if
we've done
not
our
exact
tests.
functionality
So
to
it's
the
same stuff
analyzer,
you're used to with the
and
Powermetrix.
which then reduces your training, and
So
then
that's running the
able
CT
to
test, and we have the 3 flex, so to go A, B, and C. So it'll
Very,
run
very quick.
exactly the same as you're used to running. None of the tests run any differently. It's just giving me recognition on this screen of what's going on, but everything's being run on the other screen, so you can see everything.
you can use
all your
any
vectors and everything
Windows
will run
10
on the
or
screen.
11 compliant device. This supported Windows device or a Windows application, and then
If you've ever run the Powermetrix
whatever that
before, I will
device
say
is
this
that
too,
is approved
you
for
will
your
notice
environment,
something else,
this
something
will be
different's going on.
loaded. You
Okay,
can load
something
that on there,
different is going on right
and
here.
then of
You'll
course
know. Because you can see the same
doesn't
sequence
require
that's going on,
administrator
but you're just not
rights
seeing
to
the
load
exact
this
same
or
screens. You're
run
not seeing
it.
all the
So,
information on the screens. So you know,
we've
boy, something else
ensured
must be
that
going on, and it
these
keeps telling me I'm
are
running in remote apps, so I know I'm
Windows
actually running this
compliant,
remotely.
and that it will work with any standard Windows 10 or 11 environment.
So hearing all the clicking that we normally hear.
I really like to see that summary screen again.
Well, we'll just wait for this test to complete, and then as soon as it does, and the data is
That's
saved,
saving all the information and reminding me again of the
later.
remote mode. But
There's
since
our
I'm used to
summary
the
screen.
Powermaster, I can tell something's going on. I'm not seeing any of the normal screens I'm seeing, but the sequence is all the same. Just different screens now because I'm in the remote
And
app.
if I did other tests here, it would give me a perform, and then I've got a nice vector and graph. Cool. All right, well, let's head back inside.
thanks, Chris.
Y'all fit? Ooh, I was going to yell if they were finished with all the tests. Y'all finished?
We are.
Yeah. Well, what I'll tell you that I really liked, Stephen, was I always knew where you were. It's showing the same sequence that I'm used to in my Powermaster, okay? So it's showing the same sequence. I'm seeing the same, the same sequence of the process, of the testing process. The only thing is, I can look immediately at that screen and know there's something different going on. And it keeps reminding me it's in remote app. I'm seeing a different screen, but it's staying in that same sequence as you've been saying. So there's nothing different sequence-wise or anything. It's just that now everything's on that screen, and it's not on this one anymore. And this one keeps telling me it's a remote app. So from a safety standpoint, if I walk up to this, I know someone else is controlling this.
That's correct, John.
Cool. All right.
Got a couple of questions from the chat. Mr. Adam Pierce would like to know, will Meter Site Manager include this new all-in-one report?
Well, the data that you've seen has always been contained in Meter Site Manager. So yes, that information will be there and can be selected as well as exported in the format that's always been maintained by Meter Site Manager.
One more question from the chat. Jesse would like to know, will this work with an Apple or iPad?
We are currently, not at this time, but we are currently evaluating that for future releases.
Cool. Okay. So, which brings me to, let's talk about upcoming, which they kind of lobbed it up for us there
Right.
a second ago. So, ultimately, another thing about this I'd like to ask is this going to change anything as far as information flow? Because it seems to me like this would be a little bit more streamlined now. So, where does Meter Site Manager in the future fit into this?
So as we continue to progress PRM, we are looking to then integrate standard SQL database functionality. We're going to also expand all of the testing functionality that you find on a Powermetrix analyzer. And then, of course, what's key is the ability to select and export data in a common format, which would be CSV. And then going into 2022, we'll have full reporting capability. So much to the question that we were asked previously, all of that data will be available from both a PDF perspective as well as an Excel spreadsheet perspective, giving you ultimate flexibility in the data you'd like to select and or analyze for your test sites. And then having the ability to then, right from the application, take that data and then email that, so that once you're done with the test in the field, you could have the capability to email those results immediately to show that the test has been completed, as well as from a workforce management perspective to save time and customer satisfaction. And then continuing to expand on that dashboard capability. So we'll then take that and be able to provide more and more data as it's executed through PRM.
So, am I crazy to think then, it sounds like ultimately we could move to the point where we're just taking the information, all of our test data information straight off of here and downloading it straight into the customer system then? That's ultimately?
That's correct, John. Our ultimate goal is to provide the most flexible operations, or the most flexible integration and connectivity for our data, so that your data can move between any system that
Nice.
you have. So then we are not the limiting factor in that data import-export capability.
Beautiful. So how does it work as far as licenses? I mean, so does every person that's going to use it have to have a license? Is it licensed per product, per kit, test kit?
It's licensed per kit.
Okay.
So that each one of the units that you have upgraded is per that.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So everybody doesn't have to get one. You just have to have one for each one of your Powermasters.
That's correct.
Nice.
Talk about what's included in the package when they get it.
Sure. So what you will receive when you perform this upgrade is you will have, of course, the Bluetooth connectivity adapter, as well as the Windows application. And John just has the adapter here. So this is what the adapter looks like that will plug into your 3 series. With that, of course, there's the window application that runs on your Windows compliant, whether it's a laptop or tablet. Your 3 series will have to be sent back to TEC for an upgrade to perform this functionality. And then we will, of course, ship the unit back to you with that upgrade capability. And then once you're there, once you have the unit, then you'll have to configure that for this new operation.
So does it work similar to the way that you do RMAs, in that you'll just call in, and when we get a calibration or anything done, we send it in? Is it going to get calibrated too while it's in?
Well, that would be up to the customer if they would want that functionality, and that would be above this particular upgrade.
But similar to an RMA, when we send it in, you send it in, we pay freight one way, you pay freight the other way.
That's correct.
Same way?
Yep.
Same as the RMAs. Okay.
Yep. So, we've worked really hard as to not impact the current workflow, whether it's having the unit send in for RMA and or how the unit actually operates. So we've stressed greatly as to really reduce the impacts of this and getting your operability and getting this into the field as fast as possible.
Sweet. Okay, so I don't have interference issues in the substations. You've proven that it can go through walls. You've proven that it can do distances. And I can upgrade all of any existing 3 series that I have now. I can upgrade it and add this functionality to it.
That's correct.
Or I can just get it on the front end.
Right.
Sweet.
So whether you have existing systems or you're buying new systems, this works in both environments.
Nice. Well, it sounds pretty awesome. I know from there's two parts of it for me. One is obviously conditions, getting out of this stuff because I was supposed to actually be out in it really hot this week, but rained out this week, so I was supposed to be somewhere. So obviously the impact of that, but also the data. I think it's going to be huge. We know how important it is, the data is these days. We gather up the data, but now it's been just as important. It's been made very apparent to all of us from the IT departments at the utilities. What do you do with it afterwards? And I think this is going to streamline it so much, because I see direct connectivity and streamlining of getting the data from out in the field to the system at the utility company.
And we are focused on and working extremely hard to make sure that that data has that transportability, import-export capability to work with whatever system is in your environment.
Nice, sweet. So you just go straight off, they'll hit the button, it'll download on the system. That's pretty sweet. All right. There's going to be some people crying a lot about missing Meter Site Manager. But they'll get over it, I suppose.
I've got a question that I don't think that we addressed in the beginning. Who's this guy?
You want me to take it? This is Stephen Hollis. So Steve, oh, we didn't do an intro, I guess, did we, on Stephen? Okay, well, this is Stephen Hollis. Stephen's new to the Powermetrix team. I'll let him give all his official title and everything, but essentially for what I see it as is, you know, P-Brain, keep it simple. There's going to be a bridge now between our engineering folks and the people out in the field, and because we have great engineers here. You guys have seen the products they come out with. So we've got all this knowledge and everything, and then we got the field guys who are never around. They're always out in the field running around, and so we've got actual field input from these guys. Then we got these guys that are in here all the time. These guys running around. We finally have got somebody to try and wrangle all that information, put it in one pot, and come up with the best product as possible. And that's the way I see you, Steve. I keep it pretty simple, but I'll let you give them the big title.
Well, no, well, thanks,
What title
John.
did Chris give you anyway?
I'm product manager.
Oh,
So,
that's too simple.
So
man.
I'm product manager, and nice to meet all of you. I'm product manager for Powermetrix. I'm here, and it just goes to show the serious commitment that Powermetrix has to not only the testing environment, but then the data environment. So I have a background in both data centers, IT, all kinds of data integration and exchanges. So in my role, as well as working with the Powermetrix testing community, is also the utility data community. And I have the privilege of working with people like John from a sales perspective, as well as our engineering community, to be able to provide the best conduit from what's going on in the field, the kinds of things that need to be implemented in our products, and then where the utilities are going in the future and what they want to do, not only from a testing perspective, but from an information data perspective. So I'm really looking forward to this moving forward and seeing where we can take these products. Thanks, John.
Nice. Appreciate it. All right, so I didn't do it in the beginning, so I'm going to close out now because we kind of went in a different order here. So we were trying to kind of go in the flow with this. So, so information-wise, you know that you've seen about the new product. It is totally supported 3 series. You can get it if you want to upgrade one of your 3 series you already have. You do that. If you want to add this to any quotes that we've already got in the system, just holler at us. But we can add that pretty easily. No big deal. If you'll click on that Learn More button just below the video player for the specs, then you should be able to go. That'll take you straight into the sales department if you had any questions or anything on that. Okay. And as far as upcoming, the 21st we'll be field testing a 6S with an overhead transformer. That'll be our part 3. We'll be wrapping that one up. And it was really interesting what came out at the end of that. We had some serious issues on that site, so that's a good one. Then the 28th, by request, we were asked to do a load boost benchtop test again. Evidently, that's when I was even worse than I am now, and I didn't get the connections really well. So the guys have been asking, we couldn't see the connections very well. Could you redo that one? I've been asked at 2 different meter schools about that, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We do listen to you. We do get your requests in there when we can, so we have to wait till after the 3rd one, the other one, and then wedge it in there. And we really appreciate everybody, just seriously, everybody tuning in. We're excited about the new products. This is just kind of the start of new stuff coming. So I'm going to wrap up with a prayer, and everybody be careful out there, okay? Father, thank you so much for our time today. Thank you so much for our engineers and everyone involved in this product. It's easily seen that it can be safer for the folks that we work with, part of the Powermetrix family out there in the field, and the Powermetrix Nation out there, and guys that are actually they're making those connections out there in the field now have they have a safer way of doing it. They can be in the truck, both from an environment standpoint, but also safer being in the truck in case anything happens. So thank you for the folks that developed this product. Thank you for being able to present it today to everyone out there. And Father, most importantly, thank you so much for what your son did. If he hadn't died on that cross, I couldn't even pray right now. So all of these things I ask and say according to the will of the one who paid it all, my brother, Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you very much. God bless y'all. Y'all be careful out there now.